Now, the third one is the combination of vectors. Alright, so what is data frame? Data frame is technically the combination of these three vectors, making it having, okay, so let's say we have this carrier, right? Let me just try to put here, and then let me just try to put this one and this one, right? Let me just copy paste. So this is our vector over here, right? We have 1, 2, 3 vectors over here. So the way how data frame work is basically data frame. We have one data frame named trips like this, right? If I run this one, and if I print trips right now, is basically what happened is it combines the whole three things in tabular data. What does it mean by tabular data is we have rows, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have column as well, which is carrier, depth underscore delay, and origin. So that is what data frame is. Basically, it combines each of the vectors into one tabular data, which is tabular data is table. Alright, and the column name is actually depending on the variable's name. So let's say if I name it as carrier name here, right, which is previously was carrier, if I run this one and then print this one, it will change to, oh sorry, I need to change here as well. So it will change to carrier underscore names. So that is how it works. Alright, so I just wanted you to get the context first. Data frame is basically you have three vectors, 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 vectors, right? And then you combine them together, and eventually what happened is it become a tabular data where it has, let me just, where it have row and it have columns. All right, so the name of this one, all of this one is depending on this one. All right, depending on this one and this one. Okay, so that is how it works for data frame. So how can I access each one of these data? So let's say if I wanted to print, okay, let's say I wanted to print carrier name, right? Carrier underscore name. What I have to do is I just have to simply put trips like this, print trips first, and then just put dollar signs again and just like carrier underscore name. This one is nearly similar with list. All right, so you can just like get the whole value for this one, something like this. All right, so yeah, so I think that's it. That is the difference between data frame, list, and factor. Let me just try recap one last time. Factor is basically just a vector where each one of this one is positioned in index format, which is starting from 1 and it's end with how many number, and it end with the length of data. So let's say in this one is 4, then it end with 4. All right, so that is factor. All right, now the second one is list. All right, so for list, it is basically, it has position as well. This one is the first position, this one is the second position, and this one is the third position. But the way we can access this one is a lot more easier, which is we can use label, right? So let's say if I wanted to print this one, the first one, I can just like simply print, let's say this one, right? I'll just like provide a better example. Let's say if I wanted to print the title, right, I can just simply make it print report title. So that is the advantage of list, where you can actually access this one based on the name, right, or based on label, which is quite easier compared to the position, because sometimes the position can be confusing, right? If you have a lot of position, it's kind of confusing sometimes. So that is list. And the last one is about data frame. Data frame is basically, as I mentioned previously, we have different vector over here, and you combine them together to become a tabular data where we have row and we have columns. All right, so the name, let me just delete this one. The name for the table, the column is depending on the variable's name over here where you put the data just now, or where you define the vectors. So I think that's it for data frame. I think that's it for, not only for data frame, that's it for data frame, list, as well as factor. All right, see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.